I'm Shane Ramey. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast. And today we're going to be talking about how everything's self-care these days. We want to take care of ourselves. We drink the smoothies and get the exercise and do all the things. And on the back end, we're still drinking. We're still creating a normal environment with the alcohol. Look at marathons. People run these marathons, races, different things, which I think are awesome. And I just saw one pop up the other day. Oh, check out this. There's a triathlon, something. I'm not going to do it. But I saw it on there and I thought to myself, well, that's freaking awesome. And then at the end, this is something like enjoy drinks afterwards, or we have your favorite drinks or whatever. Come join us, after to celebrate. And do you see the irony in that? You see the irony in how everything these days is self-care, which is great, except quitting drinking in many cases. It's starting to catch up. People are starting to catch on. I think they're a little bit behind in that, and that's okay. We're making some progress. But we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Before we do that, I just want to welcome you again. I appreciate you tuning in today. I wanted to say, I'm going to get back to having fun on this show. I'm going to get back to having more guests on this show and lightening it up a little bit. I absolutely love coaching other dudes in quitting alcohol and their performance levels in sleep, exercise, fitness, mental, physical, all that good stuff. I'm good at it. I say that very humbly. I enjoy it. In addition, of course, the 30-day sober challenge is a great place to start for a lot of guys out there. So if you're listening to this and you're looking like, man, where do I start? I need some accountability. I need some structure. So what most guys are missing is that structure. It's not a willpower thing. It's just a strategy and having a plan. And the 30-day sober challenge helps you do that. So those things are awesome. Victory Circle, men's community, man, so great. Like, shout out to all the dudes in there. We got dudes joining in every day, connecting in there, sharing, staying sober together, talking about different things. All that stuff's, man, so intact, a huge part of the Sober Guy platform. But I want to get back to the entertainment piece a little bit as well. And I was looking over some of the past episodes and, man, had a great time doing those, the solo episodes. But just a heads up, we're going to get back to doing some guests. We're going to get back to having some fun. We're still going to be doing coaching and that kind of stuff as well. That's never probably going to go away. But because it's a part of the Sober Guy platform here. But at the same time, man, I can't wait to chat with some new folks. And so with that, we have some great guests already lined up in June. So you'll see those coming out at the beginning of June. And we'll start back to getting back to some of the roots of the show, man. Some entertainment, some comedy, some fun. It's easy to do when you do this for a long time. You try different things and you go down one path for a while and you go, that was good. I think I need to make an adjustment. It can be frustrating sometimes, just to be transparent with y'all. Like, that's why I appreciate you guys still tuning in and supporting and following the show. And hopefully it's serving you guys well also. But man, life is about change and making small changes and adjustments as we go. And it'd be really easy for me to just say, yeah, I'm done with this. It's not going exactly the way I wanted and quit. And trust me, I've thought about it many times, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that in any aspect of my life. And I hope that, maybe encourages you a little bit if you're going through it right now and you're just saying, man, I just want to give up on this or that, or I'm done with this. If it's alcohol, that might be a good thing, right? But if there's other things in your life that are frustrating, hey, don't give up, man. Hang in there. Like, you might just need to make an adjustment. You might need to get back to the roots of where it started for you. Like I'm kind of realizing. So in any case, it's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun doing this. I'm going to continue to do it. It may be a couple weeks in May where you don't hear much from me. I'm not quite sure yet, but June, we're kicking it off with some new guests. So with that, once again, I appreciate you guys and thanks for tuning in today. So what is this? What is this? Everything is self-care except quitting drinking. What does it look like? What are we talking about? Have you heard about it? It's very ironic, I guess, in a sense where we see this huge wellness shift, and this has been going on for a long time. It's not anything new. It didn't just happen yesterday. But we hear these things: protect your peace, prioritize your mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. It's Alcohol Awareness Month. And those are great things. I'm not saying at all that those aren't purposeful and great things. They absolutely are. Build healthy routines. And then with that, there's a caveat in a lot of circles, a lot of people, a lot of a culture that tells us, yeah, drink the smoothie and protect your peace and all that. But hey, it's wine night. It's wine night. You had a rough week. You deserve a drink. Man, you worked 70 hours this week. 70 freaking hours. Man, you deserve it. Hell, you deserve 3 drinks. You deserve 3 drinks. And then it's like, well, make sure you're building healthy routines. You shopping at the organic grocery store, then heading over for bunko and wine. I guess maybe that's directed at some of the ladies. Another thing too, speaking of that, I want to involve the ladies more in this show as well. So we'll be bringing on some female guests as well. My wife, the Jess, being one of them. And we're going to have some of that lined up too, because I think that perspective is very important. And so, yes, we're, driven to speak to men, of course, but I think there's room for some thoughts and some opinions and some feedback from the ladies as well. So I think that's a good perspective to get. So we're going to do some of that too. But then, and just maybe thinking of bunko. Anyone's wives or any ladies listening playing bunko out there? I know bunko was a thing for a while with Jess and some of her girlfriends, and I think they still do it occasionally. As a matter of fact, we did a couples bunko one time. Couples bunko. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Bunko. It was actually kind of fun. I didn't know what was going on. It was kind of strange, but I guess it was fun. It was years ago. I think I was sober. I can't remember. Maybe I wasn't. I can't remember. So there could be a good chance I was not sober at that time, which probably helped maybe get through it. But the irony of modern self-care and that culture, what does that look like? People are more health conscious than ever. I already mentioned that. We got ice baths. You see all the posts, people doing ice baths, and there's saunas and there's supplements and there's sleep trackers. And even I do some of this. Like, of course, I love this. I love a good sauna. I love a good supplement that makes me feel better. But my main supplements, I'm pretty simple: creatine, multivitamin, some fish oil, some protein. Pretty basic stuff. And those are very, very important, especially as we're getting older in our age. But we talk about things like anxiety a lot, and mental health and all this stuff, the saunas and the supplements and all of it. And then we're still talking about the one thing that fuels the bad health and the anxiety, and that's alcohol. It's still such a main component in people's everyday lives. And I'm not shaming anyone or being a dick and saying you're a terrible person because you drink or someone who drinks. It's not what this is about. It's about awareness and bringing up the point of how alcohol affects not just the individual, but society as a whole. Look at domestic violence. Look at high crime. Look at, so many different broken relationships, divorce, infidelity, all this stuff. When you look at a lot of those things, the statistics behind them, most of the time, alcohol and or drugs or both, maybe that's why I said and or, I guess, are so many times driving factors in that. And so, we want to talk about, let's meditate for 10 minutes, and then we want to go get hammered and destroy our sleep and our peace for 3 days. So we want to track our steps. We want to track our sleep, our calories, and all this stuff, but we're going to go have 12 beers on a Saturday or 6 mimosas because it's brunch. It's brunch, so it's acceptable. Talked about that before on this podcast. Isn't that, I always found that so funny that brunch was just such an acceptable place to drink and just get hammered. Sunday fun day is what we used to call it. And we go to the bars, Merchant, Maine, what was it? A couple other ones in Vacaville, back in the day. And you'd get brunch. And it was really not brunch. It was just alcohol and booze, and you might eat a pancake. Hey, cook me up a flapjack. Let me get one of them flapjacks and a mimosa and a Bloody Mary and a big ass beer. And it was acceptable. It was completely acceptable because it's brunch. Hey, it's brunch. But when you step back and you kind of step out and you take a look at like actually what you're doing, getting hammered on a Sunday at 11 a.m., that's not really normal. Society might tell us it's normal and it's okay, but it's not. And I think that is a direct effect of alcohol being a reward for everything. Everything. It's a reward. You reward yourself for being stressed with the thing that maybe temporarily alleviates some of that stress, but in the long run, it makes more stress. It just adds to it. So, we have to kind of step back, I think, and take a look at this. It's like we can have all these great things, the wellness space, and everyone on board with that. The self-care, taking care of self, man, absolutely huge. I'm 100% behind that. I talk about it a lot. I try to live by it myself, but when you have a caveat that comes in and is like, yeah, well, hey, but it's wine night, or it's, we're going to get hammered at brunch. We're going to go have 6 beers because I had a long week and I'm stressed, or hell, I'm just bored. I don't have anything else to do. So I'm just going to get smashed right now, try to escape for a little bit. And I get that. The life of somebody who uses alcohol as a tool to cope is a tough day. And I know that from experience. It was hard to try to keep up with that. And you think that it's okay and you're just doing the best you can. And a lot of us are. I understand the ability, or not the ability, I understand the want and the need to just say, fuck it. Like, fuck this place. Like, I fucking hate this place. Excuse my words, but I sometimes it just comes out. But I understand that. This world is jacked up sometimes, man. Just go on social media and read some of the crap going on there, man, or that you hear about in your community, outside of your community, in the schools, in, what is politics anymore? I don't know. Like, I don't even know if that exists. I just think it's big theater show. But it's very easy to get wrapped up in that stuff. And then it's very easy just to work 70, 80 hours a week and you're just tired and fucking stressed financially or emotionally or in your relationship or kids or whatever. And you just go, fuck, I just want to let go and escape. I understand. I get it. So I'm not shaming anybody for wanting that, to just freaking let go and have some drinks. But I just want to say that over the long term is not a healthy or a smart option. And I learned that myself the hard way by almost losing everything. And so there's a way that we can find to escape from this and find that without the alcohol involved. And that's what I have really made it my mission to tap into and try to experience this life in a way that's absolutely not perfect. It's absolutely, I have my ups and downs. I struggle sometimes with, negative thoughts, a little bit of depression, or just feeling really low. Sometimes I'm not good enough. I need to do this better. I need to do more shit. We need to have more downloads for, you want to get on the podcast tip. Like, I've been doing this a long time. It can get frustrating sometimes when I set those expectations. I should be helping more people. More people should be listening, stuff like that. Work stuff, man, I'm just stressed to the max. I'm trying to juggle 20 things and please everybody, and then go do practice that night and throw the ball with my son. Or, have a good conversation over some food with my daughter and my wife, or whatever the case is. Like, life gets heavy sometimes, but there's so many beautiful blessings at the same time. And with a sober mind and a healthy place to be in, you can sit in that stuff and learn to enjoy it without the need to always want to escape. I want to escape sometimes. That's just the way it is. I think everybody does. You go, fuck this. You know, and I apologize for the language today. I don't know. I just get in those moods sometimes, and I try to, you know, do better on that. But sometimes it just comes out like that, you know, and you feel that. And we got to work through it. And we have to understand that, you know, this self-care aspect of everything, it does work when we use it correctly. But getting back to like the culture piece of this, you can't have that and then have the other. and like literally self-care this, self-care that, sober curious, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going right back to drinking. Like sober curious movement is great, by the way. That's opened up the doors and the lives and the minds of so many people in the sober community or just in general who just go, you know, I'm realizing that alcohol does not serve me well. Doesn't serve my family well, doesn't serve my business well, doesn't serve my health well. Like I want to try something different. I think a lot of people are in that boat. I think there's a gap between like recovery and then just like someone who's like, yeah, this isn't really serving me well. I need to like make some changes. And so I think that there's some tension there in between, like, oh my God, does that mean I have to say I'm like an alcoholic and I got to go to meetings? And I don't know. I don't have the answer for that, but I know there's a gap there. I do know there's a gap there because I hear about it and I see it and I can feel it. And so I do hope, you know, a sober guy continues to just go on, I guess, as long as I continue to do it. And as long as we continue to have people listening to the show. I mean, that's really the biggest part of it. My goal, my prayer, my thought, my intention is for sober guy to be a bridge in between that gap. Like, I don't know if you're an alcoholic. I don't know if you need to go to meetings. I mean, I can suggest stuff. I know it's worked for me. Meetings have definitely worked for me. And I still go to a meeting occasionally. You know, and I'm still down to go to one anytime. Like if someone wanted to go or needed to go, like, yeah, I'm going to be there. Like that, like had a huge part. You know, my mentor, Buddy C, great friend of mine. Man, he like, you know, having that accountability and that, you know, someone to, you know, talk with and communicate with and learn from over the years, like, man, just like that was huge, you know, but I don't know, you know, those people who just want to take a break or just change, like that's for you to decide like what that looks like. But the health portion, I think it's really difficult, you know, to sit and claim that like I'm doing all these healthy things, but then I'm still going off drinking on the weekends or the weeknights or on brunch Sunday fun day, whatever it is. Like it's just not working. It's just not working. You know, and one thing I'll point out, which is cool, you know, I'm not trying to be all negative, but like on a positive point, like there's more alcohol-free drinks right now than I've ever seen in my life. You know, even the big brands that you see out there, Heineken, Coors, like I don't know a lot of the more, I just call them girly drinks. Cause like Truly, that's a girl drink to me. If you're a man, you're drinking Truly, like I don't even drink. And that's just, but like someone's going to hit me up now. I know too. Oh, I drink Truly or whatever. Okay. That to each his own, I guess. But a lot of the brands, like so many NA options out there, NA beers and NA drinks, which is amazing. So you see the shift is in that direction. You can see it slowly moving there, which is great. You can even do, and I'll just throw this out there just as a suggestion, like one of my favorite go-tos. You may have heard it before if you're listening to the show for a long time. Some Pellegrino, a little cranberry juice, and a lime. One of my go-tos. I've been on the Coke Zero lately too. And Jess is like, you need to stop drinking that. That's not really how she sounds. It's like how I like to make fun of her, I guess. I love her so much. She's the best. But yeah, the Coke Zero, another option sometimes. Just some good old fashioned water with some electrolytes, coffee. Replace your drinks. You know, what are you going to move into? Because it's not about taking the alcohol away so much as it is about replacing with something else that's more of a positive benefit. And that's kind of how you work your way into this stuff. But Society, I think as a whole culture, they're starting to question the drinking habits. They are, and that's a good thing. I don't think it's fully caught up yet. I hope it gets there soon or one day. We're halfway, let's say. We've got a lot of good NA options, but there's still a lot of peer pressure out there. And that's not just from friends or family. It's from culture itself. It's from social media. It's from advertising. It's from sports. It's from the movies. It's from all the stuff. It's still out there. And why do you think that is? It's a pretty simple answer. I'm sure you already know. Because the money, there's so much money involved in this industry. It's massive, billion-dollar industry. And so, of course, that industry is going to do everything they can to, to keep up and to keep pushing their product on the people. And so let's talk about this a little bit. What does real self-care look like? Like, what does that look like? And I just want to say, I don't have all the answers. I don't know. I know what works for me. I know I'm not perfect at it. I know I do the best I can. But let's talk about what some of that stuff looks like. And it's not always comfortable. It's not always comfortable either. It's discipline. It's showing up when you don't want to show up. I walked into the gym this morning, actually, and there was a guy in there. It's funny at the gym too. Like you know these people, but you don't know them. You say what's up to them, which I enjoy. And sometimes you get to chop it up a little bit too. And you start to get to know people, which is always great too. But there's some folks that you just see there all the time because you're kind of on the same schedule. And you just kind of say what's up to. And so I had a guy this morning that was the case. I see him there. What's up, bro, man? Good morning. And he said, "Oh, I'm here today." And then I remembered a line that I think I heard from my buddy Phil. Big Phil, man. I love Phil. Great dude. He said, "Well, the hardest machine at the gym is the front door." And I always thought that was great because you're right. Like showing up is like half of the battle. I'm going to put a G.I. Joe reference in there. It really is. It's hard to show up sometimes, but I've always taken this philosophy, and I had this in my office for many years, just show up. When I noticed that when I just started just showing up, even when I didn't want to, at places I knew I needed to, God would work in that. And so even with the gym, just getting there sometimes is tough. And sometimes we miss a day or we miss 2 days. I try not to miss more than 2 days. Maybe we don't feel good. Maybe we're sore. Maybe we got an injury. Maybe we just don't fucking want to go. And most of the time you should know that if you really don't want to go, that's probably the time you need to go most. I always try to live by that too, whether it's a group, a meeting, the gym, showing up for whatever it is. But the self-care part is not always fun. It's not just smoothies and exercise and freaking supplements and I'm doing all the perfect things and my hair's I don't know, but I guess it's because I'm partly going bald in the back. I'm not bald yet, but I'm like thinning. And it's just devastating when you get in your 40s and you just realize that you're just not that cool anymore. You're just not as cool as you thought you were. Your kids tell you, your wife tells you. I mean, I know my kids and wife love me, but I'm not as cool as I thought I was, as I once was. You're not as cool when you start to get into the 40s like that. The hair thins. You start getting hair in places that, okay, I'll just stop there. But the self-care, let's get back on track here. It's going to bed early. It's optimizing your sleep, right? It's working out, like I said, when you don't feel like it. It's being present with your family. It's being present with your kids, being present with your wife. It takes effort. It takes effort. It's not always an easy thing to do. It isn't. But I was just looking at my camera there for a minute. It looked like, why is that one on too? Is that always on? I don't know. Okay. I'm talking to myself here. I'm tripping. All right. But that kind of stuff is difficult. It is sometimes. And I think it comes back to discipline and knowing your purpose and knowing what your goals are. Real self-care, it doesn't always feel good in the moment, but if you can do it and you can be consistent with it and you can learn to use the discipline, if you can learn to understand that it's not always going to be comfortable, but that is what helps us grow. People who stay in the same place forever, it's hard to grow in that because it's comfortable and it's easy. I get it. There's no challenge there. A lot of people like that, and that's fine. But for a lot of us, like we don't necessarily want that. We want a little something different. We want change. We want to get uncomfortable, even though it feels uncomfortable, because we know that God's taken us in a direction that there's something more out there or different out there that we want to experience. And we want to maximize this human experience on this crazy little ball spinning in the middle of nowhere as much as we can, because it's short. It's a short life. It's a short life. So let's talk about some things that we call self-care that definitely aren't. How about that? Things that we call self-care that definitely aren't. Okay. How about this one? Oh man, I had a rough week, man. I need 6 drinks. I'm just going to have one. Rough week, long week, a lot of stress. Just going to have one drink, be home by 10. That never happens. Since when do you ever go and just have one? Has that ever happened? I don't think that's ever happened for me that I can think back. Have I ever went anywhere and just had one drink? I don't think so. What are some other examples? Doom scrolling until 1 a.m. on your phone. I got to say that I'm guilty of that too. I'm always going to admit when I'm guilty of things, and I have been guilty of that. And I know it's not healthy. And I think this is an example of, like, just because we know what to do and we think we know what we should do, it doesn't mean we always do it. And that's okay. We just have to work towards being conscious of it and being better. So like, for instance, if that's, you've been working towards, you want to quit drinking, you just don't know where, like, don't beat your ass, beat yourself up so much. It's a step in the right direction that you're just conscious of it in the first place. And the doom scrolling thing, yeah, there are times occasionally when I find myself all of a sudden it's like midnight and I'm like, what the hell am I? Man, I came on here to check a message or an email, or look up something sometimes, look for a product, or maybe I thought of something. Oh yeah, I need to look at that. And then all of a sudden you're like an hour and a half into social media, on X, scrolling on Doom News, or, just scrolling on the feed on Instagram or whatever. Like, it's really easy to do. And so those are things that, they're not healthy if we do them often and we do them a lot. Like, that's not healthy at all. Skipping workouts. I just had a buddy of mine, Chris, who I've been working with for a while now. I think, shout out to Chris too. I think he has, it's got to be coming up on 170 something, 180 days now, alcohol free. We worked together for 12 weeks. We're still meeting, every couple of weeks just to check in, and he's doing a great job. And one of the things we were talking about was his workouts. Like, what does that look like? He has young kids, he's got a family, he works, his ass off. And it's like, how do I get those workouts in? Well, we kind of looked at that and we tailored a couple workouts that are simple with some kettlebells and just some body weight stuff, and even just walking, just being conscious of that. And then the biggest thing was, like, don't skip those. Obviously, some days you don't feel good or you can't go. Maybe your schedule is crazy, but I've always said, don't ever go more than 2 days in a row, like, without it. And that can go for anything. Like, if you're trying to say you're trying to eat good, right? Like, and then maybe one day you get off track a little bit and you're like, damn, man, I kind of messed up. Like, don't let that go more than 2 days. Get back on track. It's okay. Like, we're not perfect. We don't have to be perfect. If I miss the gym one day, that's cool. If I miss the gym 2 days, my dog's growling over here. I think he wants to go out. We're going to have to wrap up here real quick. Hold on, Sonny boy. We'll get you out of here in just a sec. But don't miss more than 2 days. Don't miss more than 2 days, man. Like, whatever it is you're doing, just try to, if you stick by that rule, it'll be that much easier to get back on track for you if you kind of stay true to that. Avoiding responsibilities, putting things off. And another thing that's just, man, that can be tough. You get behind on stuff. Just think of it like this. Look, and I try to do this a lot. I try to preach this to my kids too, like staying up to date on their homework and their chores and their sports and just all the things. Like, if it makes tomorrow harder, it's probably not self-care. I think that's a good kind of rule to live by. If it makes tomorrow harder, it's probably not self-care. We want to do things to set ourselves up for success, later on, not making it more difficult. So you don't need a bunch of rewards. You don't need better standards. You don't need to escape, although we want to sometimes, and I totally get that. You need structure, okay? You need structure. You don't need a temporary relief. You need long-term momentum, and you get that by accumulating little wins each day. So a lot of what, a lot of people will call self-care is actually self-sabotage. And you've heard some examples of that in this, and I wanted to share this too, actually, real quick. I just thought of this, like, I remember playing softball back in the day before I quit drinking. I was still partying and just being a dumbass. And, I love baseball. I grew up playing baseball. My son plays baseball. We're a big baseball family. Like, let's go on some baseball talk, right? Coach baseball. Gosh, so much fun. What a great sport. And when I realized I wasn't going to play baseball for a living, because that was my dream as a kid, like many other kids, I started partying and getting into music and doing a lot of stuff, but I still played softball. Everybody knows softball guy, right? Do you remember the old Jim Rome? He'd do softball guy, Corvette guy. They do it around, in between the smack off back in the day. I used to drive a lot for work back in the day. So I listened to a lot of talk radio. It's probably why it interested me in getting into podcasting and speaking for a living. And, but he had a thing, and it was called At the Gym Guy. That was another one. That was a great one, but softball guy, right? And so I don't think I was softball guy because I wasn't like that intense about it, but I was stupid about it. And I still played, and I would be out there smoking cigarettes in the outfield. And I'm a pretty good baseball player growing up, right? I could catch the ball, throw the ball, hit the ball, not that hard. It really is probably one of the hardest things to do in the world is hit a baseball, but whole nother side point to that. I'd be out in left field or center field or whatever it was, right center, left center, smoking cigarettes and just thinking it was the coolest shit. I had a beer in my back pocket. They call it the beer leagues, right? It's supposed to be fun. I get it. But I'm out there running, trying not to pull a hamstring, puffing on a parliament. Like, are you kidding me? I just thought I was so cool. And I just wasn't. It's a good example of like, I'm going to get some exercise. And I didn't even think about it like that at the time. I was just in the beer leagues of softball. And maybe that's not the greatest example, but there's a lot of athletes who do play softball, even in the men's leagues as they get, older. Like, there's huge competitive leagues. A lot of those guys are in great shape. So I didn't get it at that time. Like, hey, I could be out here playing softball, which I love to do. It's not baseball, but it's still fun. And I could be getting in good shape and taking care of my body, not trying to pull a hamstring, stretching out. Do you know what the stretch out was? I didn't even stretch before these games. The stretch was you get there, you take a leak real quick in the public bathroom there. You get ready, tuck your shirt in if you're going to. I don't even think I tucked my shirt in, whatever. Put a big chew in, crush a couple beers in the parking lot. Maybe throw the ball like 5-6 times and hey, we're ready to go. Maybe take a swing or two. You get that stretch, the side stretch that everyone does to act like they're stretching, but you're really not stretching. You're just like trying to stretch to look cool and look like you're doing something, maybe make yourself feel a little better. That's it. We're almost done, Sonny. Sonny boy, he's so cool. Get yourself a dog, a cool dog. Man, it's good to be. But yeah, that's not self-care. I tried it. It didn't work. It was funny though. If you're tired of the cycle, let's wrap this up. If you're tired of starting over every Monday, if you're tired of the same old bullshit, you want structure instead of guessing, we have the 30-day sober challenge. Go to thatsoberguy.com. We also have our online men's community, the Victory Circle. What a great spot. It's free to join. Love to have you in there. Hop in there, say what's up, introduce yourself. Lots of great dudes in there. Shout out to all the guys in the Victory Circle. I appreciate you guys. And man, until next time, I hope something spoke to you today. Thanks for tuning into That Sober Guy podcast. One thing I would love, if you shared this with a friend and if you left us a review on iTunes, that would be amazing. Or whatever platform you listen to this on. Those reviews really do help. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to share it. Take care. God bless. Keep your blood clean.